Welcome to this screencast, which will show you how to write a professional report using Word. Feel free to stop and pause the screencast at any time to allow yourself enough time to undertake the activities. Some useful things to have in advance will be your student ID, your module code number, and an idea of what headings you would like to put in your report. Speaking with your lecturer will really help you on this. Some people use learning outcomes, but that's not always appropriate, so please do speak with your lecturer before submitting it to make sure that you're covering the right things. So I'd like you to open up a blank Word document and save it, as I've done already, in one of your folders. Once that's been done, what we're going to do is we're going to add the basics on first of all. So we're going to add in your page numbers and your student number in the heading. So I'm going to go to Insert. To the middle right, I'm going to do my page numbers first of all. I use the bottom right, that's just preference, but you can use whatever you would like. Okay, so you can see that now, and I'm going to close that, and that will come up on every page. We're also going to now add on your student headers, so if you can go to Insert, Header, I'm going to use the first one and put your student ID number in and close that. Again, that will come up on every page. So thinking about your title page, that's your first page, we need to think about what your title is going to be. I'm going to use, for illustrative purposes, developing the work setting, which is one of my modules that I'm working on. Okay, so I'm using developing the work setting, and I'm going to add some basic information such as my module code. It doesn't matter what order these are particularly in. Let's just put something in. So module code, student number. I know you've already written it in your header, but for professional reasons, and your word count, which can obviously be plus or minus 10% of the amount on your module guidelines. Okay. Alright, so some basic information there. And what I want you to do, we need to set up our headings so we've got all the information that we need. Now if you can go up to near the bullet point area, and on the third one, if you follow my mouse, so to the right here, you've got one that is called multi-level list. If you can click down on that, as you can see, in the middle right hand side, you've got a numbered system with a heading. I want you to use that particular one, so if you click on that for me, that would be great. Get rid of that number for the moment, and what you'll see in the ribbon up the top here is you've got some numbered systems come into this bar here. Now the first page here, we're going to highlight your title, and we're going to go all the way up to the ribbon up here and click on title. Okay, so that looks a little bit better already. You can use, yours might come up a little bit different to mine, depends on what version of Word. You can change the colours and everything, but I'm just going to leave it for the system, in line with the system at the moment. So I've got my title, and then I need to be thinking about what other headings do I want to include. But I'm not going to include them on this title page, so we're going to insert a page break. If I can encourage you to avoid using at all costs the Enter key to do page breaks, and just actually go to Insert, so at the top, and towards the left here you've got page break. If we go on to there, let's scroll up. So thinking about your heading, sometimes you'll use an abstract. I'm not going to be using it on this particular one, but that might be one of your headings. But I'm going to have contents. I'm going to have an introduction. I'm going to have then after the introduction my main report titles. So on this one I've got management and leadership. I've got collaboration. I've got change management. Oh. And I've got supervision. And if any of my students on this module are looking at this, again your headings might be different to what I've said, but you'll definitely have a conclusion on all of these. You can have a reference list, and more than likely it's a report and appendix. Okay, so We want to number all of these now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to highlight all of these. Go to the top, we go to the home button. I'm going to click on heading 1. As you see now, what's happened is these have all changed into a different type of heading, they're numbered. These will all form part of your contents page, which is why it's really important that they follow the numbering system using only the heading bars. So don't avoid using a numbered bullet point system. Okay, if you notice that you've got numbers coming up in between, they haven't on this one, but sometimes they do. If you just backspace and get rid of them, so you've just got numbers against the headings, that's all you need. Okay, so what we're going to do is on that contents page is always going to be separate, so let's open a new page after that. So I'm going to insert and page break. Okay, if you notice what's happened here with the next page, it's not aligned right to the top, so I'm just going to hit enter, and you'll see if I scroll back up, that'll be near the top. Okay, so I've got my contents page, and we'll come back to that in a while. So on this particular report, my students are actually going to have some subheadings within the introduction. So, and those are going to be, and you might want to think about what subheadings you're going to have. Introduction to the report, and introduction to my setting. Excuse my typing. Okay, I'm going to highlight those. I'm going to go back to the home button, and this time I'm going to use heading 2. That allows some subheadings. Okay, and what if you notice that's now then opened up a heading 3 as well. We don't want to use that at the moment, but you can obviously have subheadings within a subheading. Okay, and if I enter down here and I wanted to just start typing the introduction to my report, I need to make sure that I use the normal one. It will automatically happen, but it's just to make sure that you're aware. So I will be saying this report will be exploring, and type away. And I'm thinking actually I don't want a space in between here, so yeah, and that's personal preference, it's up to you how you do it. Okay, so let's look down at these headings. So I want to keep my reference list as a separate page, so let's insert page break. Okay, bring that back. There we go, we've got references, and the appendix I like to keep separate as well. And I'm going to insert another page break. Okay, so we've got our headings, so we're ready to start typing. But I'm now going to update my contents page, and we're going to insert it. So I'm going to go back all the way up to, it should be on page 2, your contents page. A couple of enters to be clear. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the References tab at the top here. So if you click on References, and on the left hand side you'll see Table of Contents. Okay, if you click on that, use either the top ones, or avoid using the manual table. I'm just going to use the top one. And if you notice here, what's happened is all those headings that you typed in earlier have now formed part of my contents page, and because we put page numbers on there, we've got page numbers there as well. Doesn't that look neat? Okay, but what you might find is I might want to update my table and add another heading in, so let's do that now so you can see what might happen. So after, let's do management and leadership, we'll go to heading 3. I'm going to add a couple of subheadings in here now. So enter, I'm going to go back to the home button, I'm going to go to heading 2. So you can either type it in and then highlight and add it, or you can go straight to the top. Either way is fine. So I'm going to have management, and then I might add leadership and separate those out. Okay, now get that back. Okay, now they're not going to automatically, so I've added a couple more headings, but as you can see here, they haven't been added here yet. So what we need to do is click on that contents table. There's a couple of ways of doing it. If you click on the contents table, you've got update table. I'm going to do update entire table, just use that all the time rather than the first one. Click OK, and my headings have miraculously appeared. Likewise, if you change page numbers, you need to make sure that you do this right at the end before submitting and updating it. As an alternative, you can just right click. It's not going to show it on there because I've got update table, but it will have an option for update table. Basically, if you click on it, you'll be able to do it. Okay. So let's see what happens if I want to add a picture or a graph or a diagram. So let's do it under collaboration. So I'm going to add a diagram. Here's one I've prepared earlier. It doesn't have any relation to the topic, but I'm just going to paste that in. Okay. So as you can see, I've added a graph. I need to make sure that I provide a title in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go all the way back up to the top to references, and towards the middle there's an insert caption. So if you click on that, keep the number figure 1, and I'm going to title it sensitive periods in the early brain development, which was on the diagram. And don't forget, if you have taken anything diagrams off the internet, then you need to make sure that you reference those in your reference list as well. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and if you see at the bottom here, you've got a title here now. You can center line if you want. I'm just going to keep it the same here. So I'm going to go back up to my contents page, and I'm going to add now a heading, table of figures, and I'm going to highlight this. That's not part of it, just highlight that. I'm going to go heading 1, let's get rid of that page break. So sometimes you'll find these little annoying little things will happen. Let's just get back to there. Okay, so you just have to put the page breaks up. So table of figures, I'm going to add that now. So I'm going to go back to references, towards that middle, insert table of figures now. I'm just going to click on OK, accept what it's going to do for you. What it's done now is it's now brought together that figure for you. Now, table of figures is also on this page, so I want to update my contents page. So this time, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to update table, update entire table, and OK. So it's now added, as you can see, my table of figures into the contents page. Okay, and that looks fantastic. And what you might find in addition is that you'll add a list separately for your appendix. Again, that's entirely up to you how you would like to do it. So here you go. Here is how to complete a report using Word, looking professional. Main troubleshooting part is sometimes in the contents page. You'll see some additional typing, and it's probably just because the typing's not on normal and it's not on heading, so just go, and it's on a header, so just go back and look at it. Thank you for taking the time to look at this screencast. We look forward to seeing you soon.